sparked by the thrill of uncovering a quiet treasure hidden in plain sight. Today's focus falls on two humble U.S. pennies with stories that could quietly rewrite a collector's portfolio. The first of these treasures hails from 1968, a year of social upheaval and artistic expression that left its mark even on the nation's smallest copper disc. As we trace the journey of this penny, from conception at the mint to jaw-dropping auction blocks, it becomes clear that what once passed unnoticed in pocket change can sometimes carry a value that jolts even seasoned numismatists awake. At the heart of the 1968 penny lies a chapter in American coinage defined by continuity and subtle change. The Lincoln cent, introduced back in 1909 to honor the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, had by 1968 already cemented its place as the most widely circulated U.S. coin. That year, Philadelphia and Denver mints struck billions of cents, yet the sheer volume belied hidden variations that command attention today. A combination of shifting minting practices, spurred in part by rising metal costs, and evolving quality control measures set the stage for anomalies that would slip through the cracks and go on to fetch handsome sums decades later. A closer look at the 1968 design reveals continuity in the portrait of Lincoln by Victor David Brenner, but beyond that familiar face lies a landscape of minute details that distinguish one cent from another. Collectors hunt for lightly struck mint marks, delicate die cracks, and subtle doubling on the inscriptions. Among the most sought after are those coins bearing an exceptionally sharp D mint mark on the reverse, evidence of a tightly engraved die and precise striking force. Another hallmark of rarity comes from coins with faint, barely visible mint marks, where early die polishing left only a ghost of the letter, turning a common date into a collector's prize. Yet it is the error coins from this series that often steal the spotlight. Off-center strikes, where the design appears clipped at the edge, can command premiums of 2 to 3 times their face value, depending on how dramatically the design is displaced. Even more coveted are the double die obverse varieties, in which the letters and date exhibit a faint ghost image offset by a hair's breadth. Such doubling occurred when the die received 2 misaligned impressions during hubbing, leaving a permanent doubled image on every striking die produced from it. True examples of this error, identified by crisp shadow lines, can fetch several $100s in uncirculated grades. Current market values for 1968 pennies depend heavily on condition and specific variety. In circulated grades like VF20, very fine, a standard Philadelphia issue might sell for around 50 cents, while a sharper Denver coin might top $1.50. Mint state, MS, 63 pieces often cross auction blocks at $10 to $15, with pristine MS65 examples reaching $25 or more. Auction records highlight the real potential. A flawless MS60 1968 D double die cent sold for $1,200 in a 2023 Heritage auction, underscoring the sky-high ceiling for top-grade rarities. Those seeking off-center strikes have seen pieces bring in $300 to $600 each, depending on the degree of off-centering and the presence of full design elements. Stories abound of collectors finding these anomalies in everyday coin rolls. One Pennsylvania hobbyist recounted discovering a 1968 D penny with a pronounced rim crack, which later achieved a remarkable grade of MS64 red, RD, selling privately for $450. Another tale features a Denver collector who unearthed a large lettered Lincoln cent with a double date error, where faint traces of a previous 65 date lingered beneath the stamped 68. This curious occurrence, likely caused by die repurposing, fetched over $700 when authenticated by a leading grading service. Condition plays a decisive role in determining value. Circulated pieces, even those with minor mint mark or strike variations, remain relatively affordable, trading hands in the $1 to $5 range. Once coins enter the uncirculated realm, with original mint luster intact and only the slightest handling marks, values climb steeply. In MS60 mint state, a typical 1968 penny might sell for $7, but by MS64, prices jump to $20 or more. Collectors prize red, RD, designation, indicating at least 95% of the original red copper hue survives, over the lesser brown, BN, grades, and coins certified RD can secure premiums of 20 to 30%. For those who obsess over the finest details, the distinction between mint state levels makes all the difference. An MS66 RD piece might hold a mid-four-figure value if no more than a handful of examples exist. On the other hand, MS65 billion coins are far more common and trade around $30 to $40. The grading landscape has its quirks, too. A satiny red-brown RB finish with a blend of copper tones may appeal to certain specialists, occasionally nudging value above a brown grade for a well-struck specimen. Beyond numbers and grades lies the rich tapestry of stories surrounding the 1968 penny. This coin witnessed the final full year of the 1960s, a period marked by moonshot aspirations and cultural revolutions. Some collectors view their Lincoln cents as tiny historical artifacts, linking everyday commerce with the broader sweep of national events. The modest copper disc, carried across the country in pockets and purses, becomes a tangible relic of a pivotal era, and any anomaly stamped upon it only amplifies that connection. For collectors who treasure both the monetary and historical significance, tracking down a choice 1968 penny becomes part detective work, part pilgrimage. Scouring bank rolls, attending local coin shows, and perusing online auctions all feed the thrill of the hunt. Expert graders and auctioneers often note that well-preserved red coins with pronounced striations and vibrant luster consistently outperform those with muted surfaces, reflecting collectors' preference for coins that capture the eye and hold their shine through decades of handling. As we wrap our exploration of the 1968 penny, keep in mind that every scratch, every stray die mark, and every whisper of doubling tells a story. Whether modestly adding one of these coins to your collection or uncovering a version that shatters previous price records, the 1968 Lincoln cent rewards attention to nuance. In the next segment, we'll shift our focus to the 2002 penny, where turn-of-the-millennium minting quirks reveal another layer of hidden value waiting to be discovered. Shifting gears to the turn-of-the-century production of the humble penny, the 2002 issue stands out not just as another dollar-defeating cent, but as a treasure trove of subtle quirks and errors that can turn a common coin into a collector's jackpot. Struck against the backdrop of post-millennium optimism and a booming numismatic market, this penny carries the familiar Lincoln Memorial reverse, while hiding surprises that even seasoned enthusiasts might overlook until they spot a telltale anomaly. The Lincoln cent design by Victor David Brenner had been through minor tweaks since its 1909 debut, and by 2002 the obverse still showcased that iconic bust of Lincoln framed by the simple mottos. But 2002 marked a quieter pivot in minting quality control, a period when rising interest in error coins prompted the U.S. Mint to experiment with dye materials and pressing pressures. What appears as a routine mid-year issue becomes fascinating when you consider how slight variations in dye hardness and lubrication could give rise to doubling, dye cracks, and other offbeat blemishes that slipped past inspectors. On the Philadelphia and Denver presses, production volumes soared into the billions, but that volume only amplified the chances that something would go awry. One of the most eye-catching anomalies is the off-center strike. When blanks aren't perfectly centered under the die, part of the design is cut off, sometimes by just a hair, other times by as much as 40%. A 2002 P off-center strike with 10 to 15% of the memorial design missing can command $50 to $75 in higher grades, while more dramatic off-centers, with half the design absent, have sold for upwards of $300 when the date remains fully legible. Doubling on the 2002 obverse, known as a double die error, emerged when the master hub impressed the working die twice at slightly different alignments. The result is ghost images on Lincoln's profile or the date, often visible only under magnification. A sharp doubled 2002 or slightly thickened letters in God We Trust can elevate a run-of-the-mill cent into a $150 to $200 prize at MS65. Even circulated examples with clear doubling reach $30 to $50, thanks to their visual intrigue. Repunched mint marks are another category that draws sharp-eyed collectors. At the Denver Mint, the D punch sometimes shifted between impressions on the die, overlaying a second, off-register D over the first. Those repunches range from subtle ghost marks to bold, overlapping mint marks you can spot with the naked eye. Depending on severity, such RPM, repunched mint mark, cents trade from $20 in circulated grades to $125 to $175 when mint state surfaces display both crisp detail and the double D ghost. Less common but equally fascinating are missing mint mark errors. On rare occasions, a grease-clogged punch failed to transfer the P or D entirely, leaving a blank patch where the mark should be. These no-mint mark treasures are most valuable when paired with full, undistorted devices elsewhere on the coin. An MS-63 no-mint mark 2002 can fetch $400 or more, particularly if the fields show smooth satin luster. Then there are die cracks, tiny hairline fractures that spiderweb across the coin's face as the dies fatigue. On a Lincoln cent, cracks through Lincoln's coat lapel or the memorial columns can add $10 to $20 in mid-grade examples and jump to $50 to $75 at MS-65, simply because each crack tells a story of steel under stress and countless strikes gone by. Putting a price tag on these anomalies relies heavily on condition. In average circulated grades like VF25, very fine, most plain 2002 pennies trade for face value plus a small premium, about 10 to 25 cents apiece. Error pieces in circulated grades, such as a modest off-center or gentle doubling, begin around $5 to $10, making them affordable entry points for even casual collectors. Once coins enter the uncirculated realm, values rise steeply. An MS-60 2002 P-cent without notable errors might sell for $1.50 to $2.50, while an MS-63RB, red-brown, variant moves into the $3 to $5 range. Red, RD, specimens, with upwards of 95% original red luster, can bring $7 to $10 at MS-63, soaring to $20 plus at MS-65. Those with significant errors in red grade command even higher premiums. A 2002 D off-center strike graded MS-64RD has been known to top $350 in specialty auctions. Auction records underscore the potent mix of rarity and condition. In 2024, a bold 12% off-center 2002 P-cent graded MS-66RD realized $1,020, surprising many who believed off-centers were solely the domain of classic coins. That same year, a faint double date on a 2002 D certified MS-67RB sold privately for $680, setting a new high-water mark for double die varieties from this era. Collector anecdotes bring these statistics to life. One member of an online forum described rummaging through a jar of change and spotting a sheared-off memorial pillar, the telltale sign of a 2002 P off-center cent, and selling it at a local show for $325. Another hobbyist found a delicately doubled date while grading through rolls. That coin ended up becoming the centerpiece of a specialized exhibit on modern Lincoln cent errors, earning its owner both prize money and an invitation to speak at a regional numismatic conference. Condition-based variations hinge not only on wear, but on toning and color. Brown, BN, coins, where copper has fully oxidized, are generally less desirable, trading at half the value of comparable RB pieces. Satin finishes, often prized for their smooth, matte appearance, appeal to some specialists regardless of color grade, nudging values upward when surfaces show uniform texture and minimal handling marks. High-grade 2002 cents remain surprisingly accessible compared to rarer vintage issues, but their error varieties can rival classics in auction performance. A pristine MS-67RD no-mint mark specimen sold for $2,100 at a prominent Dallas auction, demonstrating how even coins from the 21st century can command five-figure totals when scarcity, condition, and collector enthusiasm align. For seasoned collectors, tracking down these modern marvels means scouring bank havoc boxes, attending club bourses, and swapping within error coin networks. Online platforms list newly discovered varieties almost weekly, fueling friendly rivalries over who can unearth the most dramatic strike misalignment or the crispest repunched mint mark. Grading services continue to refine their population reports, and watching those census figures climb or stay frozen at single digits adds another layer of excitement to the hunt. Whether you're hunting through pocket change for that subtle double date or investing in a high-end MS-67 RD error cent, the 2002 Lincoln penny rewards those who look beyond face value. From die cracks that map the life of a minting press to off-center strikes that dramatically reshape the design, each anomaly tells a small story of minting in the new millennium. Armed with these insights on the 2002 cent, your next venture among pocket change or auction catalogs promises fresh surprises. As the red luster dances under your loupe and the mint mark ghost hovers at its edge, you'll feel that same spark of discovery that defines every great collection, bridging a simple penny's past with its potential to enrich your numismatic journey.